What I'm most interested in is the turning point for you. Like, just like, let's just zoom out a little bit too, right? So right now you have 14 employees. Most people actively choose to not do the employee thing and to go alone. And they have trouble scaling for a bunch of obvious reasons, but you don't need a bunch of people to scale. But sometimes you want to build that kind of business. And so I'd love to understand just like, well, what was the turning point for you? Go out on your own and then decide like, this is the trajectory I want to build.
I'll walk you through it. So I've been using HubSpot since everything. So like I had like a side hustle client that I sold for like 25 grand in March of 23. And then I launched the Scrappy ABM podcast in July of 23, exclusively with the intent of like replacing my wife's income so that she could be a stay-at-home mom. So that was the whole plan, was I was going to do this little teeny tiny side hustle and like keep working. I was the head demand gen at a sales enablement company. And like, I loved it. It was super fun. And then from when I launched in July, I then sold 45,000. And then the other thing that happened that we haven't talked about, or that I haven't talked about as much publicly, is also in August, I closed a $150,000 deal. I put that in quotes because essentially when I closed that in August and then I went back to my J job in September, I then had essentially $200K in secured revenue. And then I had a pipeline of like $1.5 million. And I was like, I think we're going to leave my day job. Like, I don't think this makes sense anymore, which is when we talked.
Yeah.
And then I left my day job and then that $150K deal backed out. And so it's back down to like $50K in secured revenue. I was like, this sucks. But I already left the day job. But luckily the pipeline was real. So then from September to October, we closed another $100K. And then it was like another 40. And then in December, I closed another like 140-ish K.
And when you're saying this real quick, so like, I appreciate you just airing it all out.
Yeah.
When you say that, like, is that collected one time? Is that like retainer revenue? Is that's...
Yeah. So I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't plan to have a business. So like, I just did stuff. And like the first pitch deck was literally, here is everything that I can do. And then some people picked, like the first pitch deck had 16 different service lines, which is dumb.
That'll happen. Yeah.
I don't know if you know, like that's really stupid. And now we have 2 service lines. So for context, less is more. It's like way easier to sell when you do like one thing or 2 things. So this was a lot of project revenue. And then we talked about this concept of the activation playbook. And I think it was in December of 23 that somebody was like, I love this playbook concept. Could we just do like one a month ongoing? And I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. So I then made a retainer model. So like all of this up until this point was largely project revenue. And then I had one, it was in October. I secured one annual contract that was $80,000. And we live in a cornfield in Indiana. So it's really easy to live cheaply. Like actually, I still live on a budget. To exist, we need like $3,000 a month.
Well, I know you're openly a big Baby Steps and Ramsey guy.
Yeah.
I've also
We're Baby Step 7.
God bless you. Congrats, man. That's a huge accomplishment. Having gone through it myself, I know that doing that work changes your life in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Not 7 yet, 4, 5, 6, but getting there.
So to answer your initial question, none of this was like retainer revenue, and this was not cash collected. So like in the year 2023, I actually only cash collected in our business account $66,000. And I didn't set up a business account until July, but like still, it was not. I think we cash collected $80,000 in like the year 2023. So most of this December was sold for work to then be done the following year.